And then I will take the address and put it on the group. So, and we're just going to go through this, and I'll just share what I know so far. Always learning more stuff and correcting stuff. Okay, let's put that on. Let's mute that person. Let's see here. Okay, copy. All right, so if you are watching this on YouTube after it was already filmed, it's going to be blank here for a little bit until, why is it black? Oh, because I'm not sharing anything on Zoom yet. So you will have to probably fast forward a little bit. So what you're dealing with now is I am posting this to Facebook. And then what we're going to go over here is trimming the toe, how to trim the toe so the capsule fits the foot. I'm going to try and share in about an hour everything I have learned about trimming the toe and getting the toe wall sole to fit the internal foot. I'm always learning something new about that. And see, here's a problem you have with this kind of stuff too. And that is that you also have to take into consideration the distortion you have. Trying to trim enough to affect change, but not so much that your horse has to go crippled around for 2 weeks while stuff kind of grows back together. So sometimes staying consistent, doing a little bit at a time, taking your pictures, looking for changes that are going towards the direction you want them to go. So the first thing we're going to do here is I need to put this in. I will be describing to you what the correct toe is. All right, so let me get this on Facebook. Okay, sharing on how to trim the toe. Okay, so what I've written here is what we're going to be doing here is sharing on how to trim a toe, how to get a correct toe, what is a correct toe, how to manage the sole in the toe, and because that's part of the toe, and do corrective trimming and maintenance trimming on the toe. Okay, so let me get this whole thing here copied so I can do that there. I could put a temporary picture on. Hold on. Okay, I'm gotta find, where is my Zoom here? Okay, let's share a picture temporarily. Let's see here. It's been so long since I've done a Zoom meeting that okay, we're gonna put this up there. Okay, so do you see that, Amanda? Okay. Got it. Okay, this is being live screened. Okay, so let me go back here to wherever I was. I am lost. Now I have lost at Facebook. Oh, well, just a minute here. Let me get rid of some of my stuff here. Of course, we can see what I'm into. All right, let's see. Okay, here we are. Let me close out of that and go to the group page so I can, oh man. Okay, just a second here. Put this on the mentor page, then we'll get going here. Okay, and we will put it on the hoof health page. Post. Okay, all right. Okay, so what has brought this up is Amanda Smith asking some questions. We're going to go back to the mentor page. I'm gonna read your post, okay, Amanda? Okay, so anyway, Amanda has been except what horse is this that you're working on? Okay. Okay, because see, you know, you had Cody and you had worked on him for quite a while and he was starting to get good feet. And you know, you were getting the toe back. But of course, we had a few problems there with our communication, my communication to you and stuff. But anyway, so what I want to teach you is what is a correct toe, how these toes get run forward like this, and how you are to trim them to get them back, and correct all this. Now, she says, help me, after 6 years, she's been doing tack 6 years. I still can't correct forward hooves. I think I'm making them worse. And so, you know, I was looking at this and reading this, and after I took the pictures and I put them in paint to do a markup, I saw what was happening. Okay, and so I posted this picture here, right here. Now, what you're seeing here, see, a lot of times what happens is people are nervous about and do not know how to trim the toe. And by what I mean by toe, I'm talking about everything all around the whole front of the foot, not just what's right in the very front here, but the toe, to me, okay, includes the toe quarters, which some people call pillars. I used to call them pillars. I call them toe quarters now. That'd be the center of the toe quarters, and on into the quarter, you know, that whole area. And so what happens is a lot of times, you know, you have sole that grows and retains in the center, more in the center of the toe a lot of times. And it can look like live sole, and people don't know how to manage that sole, how to, a lot of times you do have to trim some of that sole out because it will retain, and your dorsal wall here will just keep getting longer and longer. And so what happens is a lot of times we will do a reset on the heels or take the heels down, but we will not take the toe down. And because people are afraid to touch the sole a lot of times. And so what they'll do is, like what Amanda did here, is she beveled it, okay, but she also took her heels down lower. So what did that do? As you can see here, you see where the hairline is here. Every time you do that, it lowers the hairline. Let me go to paint here because I have it here. It lowers the back of the foot, but the front of the foot stays the same. And so you're lowering the back of the foot. And what is this doing? Okay, let's say this is your horn tubule. Okay, if you lower the back of the foot, then what that does is that puts the horn tubule at an angle. Like when the foot was higher back here, the horn tubule would be about like that. But when you lower the back, but you're not taking any toe down, then your horn tubules are running more forward. See, like this. Whereas before, it was more like that. Do you understand what I'm saying, Amanda? Okay. Okay, so it just naturally, then what is happening? Naturally, these horn tubules here are growing more forward at a lower angle and pushing forward while you're lowering the back of the foot. And pretty soon, another thing that happens is, okay, so this horn tubule here, let's say, the one that is, say, right here, supposed to be about like that. Once you lower the heels, but you haven't lowered the toe to keep the horn tubules at the same angle, okay, then they start to grow longer like this, and they actually start to push the toe forward and away from the inner foot. See there, because of the angle. And so you have to learn how to read the toe and take the toe down. Now, another thing besides the horn tubules that you have to learn to read is, let me undo this here. There's so many things, is the growth rings. Just a minute here. Now you see, yeah, go ahead. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, well, yeah, okay, I understand that, but see, you can do that, okay, but if you're not correctly taking the toe down, okay, it's still going to do what I was saying. See what you did, there's nothing wrong in what you did there, okay. Usually I don't take it down more than to about 1 3/4 inch, you know. But because you took it down to 1.5 inches and you did not really take the toe down, you just took it back, then you wind up over lowering the heels and then putting the horn tubules at an angle that goes more forward like that. You see what I'm saying? This is all about mechanics and structure and physical laws, how the physical laws of building and structures work. Because the structure of the hoof capsule consists of the horn tubules that run like this and the growth rings that run like this. Okay, and they have a certain angle that they have to be at according to the internal foot. Okay, and so what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get this capsule to correctly form to and support this internal foot. So it has to have certain proportions. Let's see here. Let me put that back. All right, so we're gonna go look at what is correct. Now, let's go back here. Well, yeah, let's go look at what is correct first. So I'm gonna go into pictures, and we're gonna look at, what is the toe? Let's see, where do I need to go to find pictures? Just a second here. Okay, let's see. trying to think of what I called that. Well, let's just go under P. Maybe I've put it under pillars. Let's see. Let's get bigger view. Okay. Okay. Okay, so what we want is excuse me, we want the foot. Let me start this. Oops, we'll start here. Okay, we have to know what is the foot, the internal foot shaped like. Okay, so let's, because the capsule has to be shaped like the internal foot. Just, thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is a study that I did in 2014 when I was trying to figure out myself, how do you trim that toe? How is the toe supposed to be shaped? What's going on? Now, I understood that at that time I was getting some good understanding about horn tubules. You can see the horn tubules behind these lines, you know, in the foot. And you also see what I call growth rings right here. And now, because of the shape of the inner foot, the horn tubules, which run horizontally, no, wait, vertically, and the growth rings, which run horizontally, have to be in a certain position. Okay. Now you can look, this is all Balor's foot right here. Okay, and this is when I started trying to figure out, and you can see that I was successful over here. You see the difference in that foot? Okay, see how smooth that is? Look at the top up here. Okay, look at, there's no ridges or bumps, or very smooth horn tubules running correctly vertically, and the growth rings running smoothly this way. Whereas, look over here. Let's see the flares I have here. Okay, and all right, now this is Molly's foot, my mare that died. I was trying to figure this out on her. And so now the good thing about her was, up here, you see, she didn't really have any jamming up here, because this is something you have to realize too. And that is that this wall, which is supposed to look smooth like this and have a certain uniformity, and these growth rings are supposed to be a specific way. Okay, when you don't trim it right, gradually it pushes up into the hairline up here, because where the sole and the wall meet together, it is dovetailed. Now, to be dovetailed means that the wall can, even though connected to the sole, can slide down past the sole and grow past it. Well, just like it can slide down past the sole and grow past it, if it's weighted, if the foot doesn't get trimmed correctly and the wall gets weighted, that wall, instead of growing down and out past the sole, can start to get shoved up this way. Okay, and that's when you start getting these, you see these bulges right here and the cracks. Okay, yeah, those are called compression rings. So instead of your growth ring, you get a compression ring because that's where the wall buckles and bulges to try and keep the wall from totally shoving up into the hairline. It's like a self-leveling system built into the hoof. Okay, look over on this side. See the little bulges there? Okay, so what happens is, things take the path of least resistance, right? So the walls will push up, and they will push up the hairline here. And of course, the coronary band is right behind here. And so they'll shove the coronary band up too. And then once they can't go any further that way, then where does the wall start to go? It starts to flare out like that. You see? So this wall is pushed up about as far as it can go. And then it's also been buckling or bulging. See, the wall is a lot more fluid than what you think. Okay. It's also been bulging to try and accept that excess hoof. And then, okay, then that growth has to go somewhere. So then the wall starts to flare out. You see what I'm saying? Okay, now just a second here. Now, if you don't hear me, it's because I probably put it on mute so I could cough and then forgot to put it on. So you'll have to remind me, all right? So, okay. Just a minute, I'm going to take a drink of coffee here. Okay, so let's see here. All right, so I have this picture over here because this was, of course, after I corrected a lot of this. See, but anyway, I've learned a lot of things like this. Like, first of all, the way it's supposed to look in general is more like what you see right here on this half of the foot. Okay, now you can see also over here, sometimes if they have a really tight connection up here, the wall won't necessarily jam real bad all the way up. It will start to flare before that. Let's see now. Okay, so, but how do we know what it's supposed to look like? We know what it's supposed to look like if we look at the inner foot, because the growth rings and the shape of the capsule should follow the shape of the inner foot. Now, let me make this bigger. Now here I've taken a dissected foot, and this is literally what I did there back in 2014. I was like, I took a foot and I looked at it from the front. And then I just believed at the time, well, when I look at a hoof capsule from the front, other than the part where the wall has to fill in, this part right here, it should look the same. It shouldn't have these square corners here. It should look the same. See there? So let's just take this and go to paint. Okay. And hold on here. let's see, resize to 150. Okay. Okay, so you see the shape of this foot here, right? Now I have imposed it over somebody's foot. I don't know whose foot that is, but I've imposed it over somebody's foot, and I can see that whatever horse this is back here, his feet are not shaped like his inner foot, are they? You know, so if I understand, let's see, got to find a marker here. Let's just do red. Okay, so let's see. All right, so here's the hairline right here of the coronary band, which would go, should go like this. That's the first thing I ought to be able to see. Okay, now you see the coronary band here that grows the wall? This thing can be pushed up almost half an inch. It's if you do a dissection, you can take your thumb and you can move this thing up and down like that. Okay, now the hoof capsule has on right here what's called the coronary band groove. Just a minute. Which is, it would be like this. Okay, you see this groove on the hoof capsule? That's the coronary band groove. And that thing ideally should always stay in the same place to guard the coronary band. But when the walls get weighted and the wall is shoved up, it can push the coronary band clear up into here, so that actually this here could wind up being clear up here and this up like that. Uh-huh. Yep. Okay, well, there well, we'll have to take a look at that and see what can be done. Now, here's the thing too. You can have some remodeling of the coffin bone in front here when there's a lot of jamming and a lot of pressure. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Okay, so oh, let me do, okay, so you see here the red line, just a minute. Okay, so the red line is how it's supposed to be, but a lot of times you have wall jammed up like this. Okay, and so you would have excess wall in here down through here. Okay, you've got to get that wall out. But you can't get it out all at once. Now let's back up here a bit, because we want to look at what this is supposed to look like. Okay, so your coronary band groove is right here that holds the coronary band, and then all the hoof wall grows down from that. Now you see this space here. Okay, that is let's see, that is where you get your growth rings coming down out of there. Okay, now here's the bottom of the foot. Okay, I'm trying to think of how this. They're going to be kind of like this. Okay, how that winds up being like that, I don't know. But anyway, so you have your horizontal growth rings, which would be like so. And then you have your vertical horn tubules, which are like so. So this is what I call the hoof wall grid, basically, that you learn to read. Okay. That might not be perfect there. So let me undo that. All right. So therefore, when you start seeing stuff like this, okay, you know that this is hoof wall that's been jammed up that way. See, when this piece here, instead of being like that, is now like this, you know you have a problem, that you're not trimming the toe quarters correctly. Okay. And so the wall has probably jammed up this way. It's probably got those ridges in it and everything else. And it's probably raised the hairline up here too. Okay. All right. So now, so far, we're just talking about what it's done to the wall. We're not dealing with the fact that you're also going to have sole in here that has taken over and that is distorted as well. See, because you'd have sole clear down to here, right? So you have to learn how to trim these feet to shape the shape of the inner foot. But when you're doing this corrective too, you've also got to get the foot close to that shape without overdoing it, and then bevel the wall and keep it beveled so it can release this jammed up wall up here, so that you can finally get so that your hairline is like this and your horn tubules down to here. See, and then learn how to keep it there, keep it in that shape, and have the right and you'll see these horn tubules or these growth rings come back to this shape here instead of being jammed up like this. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, well, it can happen fairly quickly sometimes. It depends on how long it's been that way, how much it's jammed up. The important thing is that the whole reason for taking these pictures is so that you can read that, understand that, and then take steps to correct it. See, so let's go to your pictures here. Where are we at? Just a second here. Okay. So let's look at this here. Now we're just talking about what it looks like from the front. See, now see how that's rising like that? Is this the one foot you said she was bad on? Or is it a different foot? That was the front right. Okay. Okay. A quarter crack will be caused from the heels too low, the horn tubules pushing forward to where finally whatever's in front of them doesn't want to push anymore, but there's still a lot of pressure coming from behind, and so the hoof will crack there. See, okay, so like, let me get this up here just a second here. Okay. Let's see. Okay, now you can see I went out when I was figuring this out and I took this side down so it would look like what I was seeing on the inner foot. And then I took a picture of it to see, you know, I might have made her sore during that time because I didn't realize too that a lot of times they had wall jammed up here. I don't think she had a lot of wall because you can see the hairs laying down. It's pretty relatively neat. She was more distorted on this side over here. You see how that raises there? So I got away with that over here. But if I remember right, then I took this one down the same way, and that made her sore. And that was because at the time I did not realize how much these walls would jam up this way. And that first you have to work on relieving the wall. Yeah, you can shape it like this to a degree and take some of this down, but you can't just make it look like it's normal when you have jammed up hoof wall, excess hoof wall in here that needs to first be released down. See, when you have this, I can't just form the foot to be exact because this wall, you've got excess wall in here. And so you wind up over thinning the sole in that area and making the horse sore. That's why when we did Cody that time, and I didn't just have you bevel this area more and wait for some of this to release. When you followed my directions and you just trimmed it exact to follow this growth ring here, he got sore. Okay, because see, this growth ring rises up like that. See there? Okay, we want to let this down and look at the hair here. See how it sticks out? The reason the hair sticks out is because that's so shoved up that way and it's pushing the whole hairline up. Yeah. Yeah, and stuff, but look here too. Just a minute. Okay, let me see here. Let me do a annotate here. You can thin out some of it, but you just have to be careful. You can't force this to look like it's supposed to look. See, you've got to let it release, and you've got to let this, look at this bulge, how that's raised right there. See, and then you look up here, look at that. See, because that's all. Okay, well, yeah, just a minute here. Why is not this thing? Huh? Why is not my annotator working? Just a minute here. I have no idea. Anyway, let me take this picture here. Oh, I got this. Okay, just a minute here. Copy. Let's take this into Paint. Okay, so growth rings are supposed to be symmetrical, you know, and they're supposed to have a certain space. All right. So let's see here. Let me get the right kind of brush to mark with. Okay, so you see this growth ring here on this side? Let's follow it over here. See there? See the difference in the sides? Now this one, this side is still a little bit misshapen because it should look more like this. See what I'm saying? Some of it can be lowered, taking some of the sole down. okay, and the wall, and some of it is bevel. Okay, now over here, see, that doesn't mean that the sole is necessarily real thick in this area either, because this is wall that's been pushed up here. And so you could still have relatively, not only could you have relatively thin sole and the foot could be lower right here, but the sole is also flared and pulled out away as well. Okay, so the thing that you would want to do is you would want to come in here and you would want to bevel over here and kind of try and make it look a little bit more like this over here. But you're going to have to bevel the wall in such a way so that this excess hoof wall that's been jammed up here, because see, you can see it clear up in here. Okay, so that this will release and be able to come down. However you want to do it. Okay. However you want to do it. I do it. I see, this is the hard part, is like because now we have to go to the bottom of the foot. Now what I would do here is looking at this, I'm seeing that this whole area here kind of needs to come like that, and you've already beveled it here, kind of. Okay, but you kind of gotta take this off here. See, just kind of bevel that over and see if some of this starts to drop down. See, it's very possible that you see beveling and then rasping the foot down flat as well. Rasping down sometimes into the sole. Like I did a video. Let's look at see, we're just looking at the upper outer part of the toe. Okay, then we got the whole other aspect of the whole bottom of the foot and the shape the foot is supposed to be. So let's go and look at the bottom and see how your foot is shaped from the bottom. Let's take a look at that. Let's see here. Yeah, but see, learning to manage sole too, and a lot of times this sole is being pushed forward in front of the foot from what I'm seeing here. Now, was there sole pictures here? Yes. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay, so you've got to learn to read this type of concavity. You've got a big thick sole ridge here. You've got a lot of sole to work with here. Yeah, and we have a tendency to, you can see right here. Now, if I was to flip that foot over, would it be this foot right here? Is that this foot? Okay, so I want you to notice that you have a tendency to leave this area high right here, and that's how it got this way. And it could have been whoever trimmed the horse before did it too. Okay, so whoever had her before left it high, and then because we have a tendency to do that on one side or the other. Everybody does. Okay, and then the foot grows in such a way that we're not seeing that imbalance either from the bottom. That's why we got to learn to read this. Our horn tubules don't lie and our growth rings don't lie. Okay, the bottom of the foot is such a liar usually. Let's see. Let's go back. Okay, now see, I can look and I can see that this side is really high over here. See that? See, because here's what happens. You see how nice and concave that is? It looks uniform, doesn't it? But it's not, because when this wall grows, it pulls the edge of the sole with it a lot of times, especially from here to here, and it tends to look concave when in reality you've got a convex sole ridge there that you have to learn how to deal with. And so when you just take it down to the edge of the sole, a lot of times, God, it's just so hard to explain. A lot of times you've got way more sole there and your sole isn't even level. You could have more over here than over here, but it can all look relatively the same. But if you look at this now, okay, if we were to take, well, here, we'll just do this. Just a second here. Wait for this thing to show up. Come on. I don't know why that don't want to work. Just a second here. Let me search for, okay, there we go. Okay, we're going to take this here. First of all, I want you to notice your foot isn't level here. It's not straight up and down. It's tipped that way. This stupid thing. Why did you do that? Just a second here. Image. There we go. Capture. I'm going to put this in where I can kind of rotate it. Okay. Copy. Paste. Okay. Let's make it straight. If we make it straight, right there. Now, do you see how that, now, if you look at it that way, it kind of looks, well, I can see it. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I see this side as way much higher than this side. Let's see. Got to look at these a million times. Hold on. I want to make sure I'm seeing this right. Hold on. Okay, so this is the, what foot is this? This is the left front foot, right? Okay, and this is the medial, right? Oh, right here, the medial, right? And so then when we take this foot here and we turn it over, this is your medial side, right? Okay, so this is showing me even from, but see, now I've trained my eye to look more, that this whole side is way higher, and you can't just take it down to the level of the sole, because you could have retained sole on one side, not on another. You could have jammed up hoof wall on one side and not on another. And so you've got a real imbalance going here. Let me show you some of the pictures from the last trim I did. Just a second here. Oh, I got to turn on my thing. Okay. Guys, now we've looked at the front and what it should look like from the front. That doesn't mean you can necessarily trim it into exactly that. You know what I mean? But that gives you something to work with when you understand the principles of how the wall jams up, how you've got to let the wall out, and then start getting the foot in the shape of the inner foot. Okay. Okay. So now you, if we were to look at the foot from the side, here, let's just look at this for a second. I don't know whose foot this is, but anyway, so not only you have to have, let me get something to mark with here. So your growth rings, okay, are like, so now you see how, what do you notice in this foot about these growth rings right here? Well, some of that's happening, but what do you see in the growth ring? Just a minute. Well, no, they are compressed because look at them. They're little bulges there. But here's another thing. Okay, they haven't made it all the way up into the hairline yet, but the hairline's supposed to be like that. What do you see in the growth ring that's different from the hairline? We're looking at shape and form. The hoof wall growth ring is like this at the top. Now there might be a little bit of jamming there, but not much. Okay, but what do you see is different in how the growth ring is shaped here than from where it comes down right here? Right. That's right. Okay. See, what this is showing me is that they have a tendency to leave this area from here to here high. Okay. And gradually that's pushed up here, even though it looks flat here and there. What's happened is, just a minute, let me get, this has happened. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they got their heels going pretty good here. But they could be letting they don't want to let the toe get any longer than that 3.5 inches. I guarantee you that. Okay. But they could probably also be taking that toe down a little more and taking these quarters have just gradually pushed up and pushed up and pushed up. See, to where now you look at these growth rings. See, not supposed to be like that. Supposed to, just a minute here. So that, you know, that's the thing. Understand, see, it should be just like this. Just a second here. It starts growing from there. They should be just like this all the way. See there? Okay, now, so there's a certain uniformity. You see but now this piece of wall here, the growth rings start to get a different, they should be the same width in between here. They should be straight. Okay, they shouldn't be arched. And right between the growth rings, except, you know, the heels grow down and get trimmed off first, right? Because of the shape of the foot. So then you have this piece of wall here, right here. Oh, come on. Wait a minute. A second. Oh, man. You have this piece of wall. Why are you doing that to me? Right here. That is a different shape. You understand? So your growth rings are going to look different right in here, in that it's more of a shape of a piece of cantaloupe. You know, a slice of cantaloupe. You understand what I'm saying? because your heels grow out first and trim off, then you've got this piece. It's going to be a little different, but look at the space in between them here. See, this spacing should be the same, but the shape right here is going to be a little different because you've got it's more of a wedge, a slice looking type deal. They definitely shouldn't, just a minute, shouldn't have this going on. See what I mean? Shouldn't be raised up like that. See, so you have to get it in your head how this triangular piece of the hoof and the growth rings are shaped so that you can look at your feet and read them correctly. Am I making sense here? See, yeah, let's do a few things on that. Just a minute here. Let me see if I can find. Okay, let me find a better foot. My horse's foot isn't always the best either, but you know, those that can do, those that can't teach. There you go. Okay. Okay, we'll look at my last trim here. You're always your own worst critic, you know what I mean? Okay, I'm going to show you what's going on with his feet. I've had ups and downs trying to figure out what the true foot of the horse is. He's just now, I've been working on getting his frogs straightened out so that they're not bound under anymore. Let's see here. Yeah, let's go to my last trim here. Where are you? That's the wrong one. This would be so nice to have a young horse that you could just, once you knew this stuff, you could just bring them along. You're not doing this correcting, but you're always going to have to do a little corrective stuff when you have domestic horses, almost no matter what. Let's see here. Oh yeah. Yeah, so you know, and her feet aren't that bad. Okay. So yeah. Okay, so I got here from 11/27. Oh, that's just yesterday. That's weird. Okay, so this is yesterday. And all I was doing was the left front. Some different things were going on here. First of all, I noticed that my frog apex has come back. Now, here's the thing. You know, I'm still working on getting these heels back. And part of the thing that was retarding my progress was the frog was held forward. Because when you get these bound feet, all the anatomy in that foot gets shoved forward and the heels get shoved up. So the foot is literally deformed, and then the capsule is going to grow that way. And so as you are correcting the capsule, you are always also trying to affect the inner foot to get that foot to come unbound. See, because as the bulbs here are pulled down and under, the internal heel is literally forced up, you know, so the foot is bent. And so it's a little bit of trimming and a little bit of change on the inner foot to grow the capsule a little different way. And it's kind of just back and forth. You're kind of, okay. So anyway, what I noticed was I had the suspicion that it was time for the apex of my frog to come back. See there, it'd come back some there. And I'm thinking this ain't where it's at. This, of course, would bring my toe back. Okay, another thing I've noticed, when you get these feet right, the periopal skin covering the back of the coronary band here totally changes. It's not this weird thick stuff anymore. It's just this light, nice skin that's right here, and it doesn't go under the foot at all. And the way you can tell is when the foot is wet, the skin from the frog will still be dark, but the periopal turns lighter. Okay, so let's, huh? Yeah, and something I discovered too is that when you trim these feet out, the existing frog can get pushed way up in the foot, and you can have dead old frog up in there for a long time. That aha, see? Okay, so let me keep going here. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is get my heels to finally come under here. So, but what I did here was I was testing where to see the true apex should be, which you got to do on occasion, because that frog can grow up and grow forward, and then you wind up measuring wrong. Also, as these feet are correcting themselves, they can move back. See, what I mean by that is this, just a minute here. Hold on. Let me take this foot. So we'll compare it to what I wound up with after I trimmed. Okay. Okay, so this thing is by no means, just a minute. Paste. Let me straighten it out. Okay. So let me copy that, put it over here and paste again. Paint. Okay. Okay, so now my growth rings, you can see here, they're a little bulged right there. You see that? Okay, not too bad up in here though, but I can see there's, well, and that's also because I weight this part of the wall more as since I'm, you know, still working on those heels. So well, I don't keep it the longest, the heel point the longest part. I try and keep a kind of a level platform right here. That this whole area the same length in here, not just that point longer. You know, I try and keep it kind of the same length. Well, yeah, I think, yeah, because you just don't want a point there. Okay, so this is relatively straight right there. Now, I'm wanting these horn tubules still to come back some more. And you see, I've got, you know, you talked about quarter cracks. I've got this permanent crack up here that's been there for years from when I trimmed the heels out, and all these horn tubules were forced forward like that. And so they all pushed forward till they hit right there. And then this wall here said, I'm not going nowhere. And so they cracked past it. You see there, that's what happens. Let's see. Yeah. And anyway, in this trim, I needed to check to see, it's hard when you're standing there to see if you get this just right, you know. But basically I got it pretty close, and I knew that once I drew the foot from, or the line from here across, that my apex truly had moved back. Okay, now why does it move back? And you know, you see in your original course, you're talking about getting run forward toes back, right? Okay, hold on. Which I've been working on. Now, what happens? Okay, so let's say you got this is run forward here. And what you're wanting is you're wanting this all to move back. Okay, this is going to move back to here. This is going to move back to there. And this, oh, and this is going to move back to here. Okay, so the whole foot shifts. You see what I'm saying? Okay, the whole foot shifts. Okay, and so consequently, the internal foot is going to shift too. And so it's going to, the frog is going to move back like that. And so your apex that might have been more forward here is going to move back. And this is how to tell where it's supposed to be. Right here, because the true apex will be straight down from there. Now, this is just in general. I sit there and I look down and I kind of bring my pin over and try and draw a line as much as I can that would be straight down from right there in the center. See right here? Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Okay. I'll try that. Thank you. Okay, so oh, okay. Okay, I will check that out. So I will. So okay, so let's say that this, I had this here, and let's say I had it so that I could move it back and forth. Just a minute, got a cough. See, I wish I could do that where I could just push this forward and then everything would move, but everything shifts as all these horn tubules are moving back, and then the heels are going up. Eventually, I want my hairline to be about up here. See, when this down here straightens up, it should push that hairline up. You see there? Okay, so just a minute here. Let me take these off here. Okay, so what I know is this, that the general proportions of the foot, let's see, let's just go to here, are like this. See, I still want that toe to come back. Oh, come on down here. I'm going to make that the same angle as that, as if I had good heels. Okay. Okay, so that is the shape of the foot, but where is, what am I drawing on? Oh, there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to take from here and I'm going to go to there. Okay, now you see this area here. Okay, and then you see this area here, right? Okay, so these are the proportions of your foot. Okay, this is your triangular area. So if I have this here, this area, this is where it all starts up here, and then it's all the same right in these two areas, right? Till but the heels grow out first because the foot is shaped kind of like a cone or triangle, right? Okay, so it goes like this. So you're seeing how, just a minute. Let me undo this. I didn't get that quite right. Let's do this. Move this down to here, down to the edge of the heel. So the top part of the foot is like so. And then it grows out like this. It stays the same, should stay the same to there, but then the shape changes on the bottom part of the foot, and you have to learn what that's supposed to look like and be able to read that too. See that? So this bottom part of the foot has to have a certain shape, like this growth ring area here, which is about as wide as the coronary band. If you look at the growth rings, they go, you see this one here, the darkness of it. Okay, now you see this one here. It's a little harder to see, but you can see it. And then you see another one here, and then you see another one here, right? Let's move this for a second. Okay, see the dark ring here. You see one here, you see one there, and you see one here. Okay, well then it's hard to see on here, but there'll be one here and like down here as well. Okay, so you have to learn to read these growth rings. They're the same to about the end of the heel. Now, there's a couple things you can learn from this. One is that the heels, this area here, is about half or a little over half sometimes of what the total length from here to here is. You have this area of the foot. See? And so, you know, this is our 2-inch heels, and usually, well, 1 3/4, ideally. 1 3/4 to 2 inch, they wind up being on your regular sized horses. Okay. And so the dorsal wall is like anywhere from 3 1/4 to 3 1/2 up here. So about half of that distance or a little more. So this is kind of a standard way the hoof is supposed to be. So see, understanding these growth rings so that you read them. Let's put that there. Wait a minute. Okay, again, here's your coronary band groove. Your coronary band's right behind there. There's a growth ring there. There's a growth ring there. There's a growth ring there. Now there's a growth ring. Now it's starting to get a bit different shaped right in here. Instead of your rectangle here, you got your triangular, whatever shape that is. Okay. In the front, it's going to look a little different. And then as it grows out, your growth ring had moved down to here, and then it moved down to here, and then out of the foot. You see that? Okay, so now when we look at the front of the foot, okay, so let's see. How is that supposed to look? Okay, well, let's look at my foot and we can tell. Just a minute here. Let me go to my pictures. Okay. Okay, well, that's not that great a picture. Let me see if I can find a different. Now, here's where I had the foot trimmed up. I'm trying to get these heels to move back some more. Okay, let's get this one. Okay, so these growth rings will be the same distance till you get about to here. And when you get about to here is when it starts to be that triangular area we were just looking at. Okay. So then you got to learn to read those. Wait a minute. What am I doing here? Just a minute. Cancel. I don't want to save you. Let me take a picture of this. And go back to paint, over to here. Where are you at here? Oops, what happened? A second. Okay. Oops, wait a minute. Okay. Okay, so when you're looking at the bottom of the foot, because you know we started out, the issue we're having is with your horse right here that has these distorted toe quarters, right? Okay, so you look at the distance here between here, or well, let me get a deal here. Look at the distance, the growth ring. Now up here is where it changes from that rectangular to the triangular shape down here. Changes from rectangular around the whole top of the foot to the triangular shape here. You see that? Okay, and so the way the growth rings look changes on that part of the foot. And so you look here, whereas up here, they're going to be the same distance from one another. Like they would be like this over here and like this over here. You understand? Down here, because you're getting into this triangular shape here, is going to be different. Okay, it's going to be the widest in the center of the toe, and then it's going to start getting shorter. See that? Okay. Like if this was just exactly like the other side. Okay, you see how it would get shorter and then a little shorter there, going all the way back. Look here. See, it's one longest distance here, but it gets a little shorter here and a little shorter here. But in between, you have, well, on some cases you have a similar distance, but do you see what I'm saying? Because I'm having a hard time explaining it. Yeah, okay, look at let's see. Yeah, it's kind of hard to read because on one side, because first of all, the wall up here goes like that. But down here, it goes like this. You see there? And up here, it's going to be about the same, but as soon as it gets to this triangular area, it's going to start to kind of change a little bit. There we go. Yeah, it goes from rectangular to spherical, I guess. You know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, thank you. You see why it's hard to explain? You know, but see, this is put there for us to read. See, because this is how we read whether we are getting that hoof capsule close to being the shape of the inner foot. See, and so here, let me take a picture of that. And okay, so see, once you know what the foot is supposed to be shaped like and what the horn tubules and growth rings are supposed to look like, okay, then you can look at your foot here, and you can see where you've been trimming high. See what I mean? Like you take it down pretty good over here, just like on my foot here. I left the outside high, you leave the inside high. See how that goes there? Okay, that's just, yeah, that's just some gradually over time, leaving just at least leaving a little bit longer, and it just increments. Boom, 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 shoves up there. Now, I'll show you something here. Yeah, and so yeah, well, and the thing is, you can bevel into some of this sole. I'll show you what I had to finally do on my other foot, because see, my feet got very flared as well. Very flared and very asymmetrical, very wide on the outside of each foot, because I had a tendency to trim that side out more because it was easier to get to, you know. Gradually, you wind up trimming one heel out more than the other. That lowers that side and pushes all those horn tubules forward. And then if you're also leaving the quarters a little too high, that's going to push everything out, you know. So let's go back here and just kind of look at some things here. Oh yeah, well, look at it here. See, it does go straight up there. Mm-hmm. Yep, this crack went all the way up to the hairline. The thing is, it used to really gap down here, and it doesn't as much as it used to. So everything, so that's good. Now, okay, now look over here at this foot. see, always seeing things you don't want to see. All right, well, but things you need to see. Okay, so what is this telling me? What does this tell you about this foot? Yep, so it's jammed up. And then what's going on here? What's that? Right. Okay, so I have a tendency to what? That's right. And you know, the sole can build up there, the sole can compress there, different things can happen. But yeah, I have a tendency to leave that high, and so that's what is going on there. So I need to work on that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and here again, we got to remember, all right, you could still have the correct amount of sole, but the wall has been totally pushed up. So the thing to do here would be for me to bevel this wall here to let that down. The sole might not be real extra or anything like that. See, this is the part to remember, is that when these walls jam up, you could have the same amount of sole in here, but the wall itself has jammed up past the sole. Okay. Now, so you could I don't like to say scoop because I have never liked scooping for the only reason that they teach that the horse's foot is shaped like that. Okay, the horse's foot is not shaped like that. That's a distortion. But you could bevel that more so that yeah, there was more room so that it would let all this out. Okay, so that this hairline would drop there. Well, I'm going to show you what I did on this on my other foot. Yeah, see, I don't know. You know, people do it both ways. You know, sometimes I'm afraid to put an arc in it. I'm afraid it's my heel's going to collapse forward. But I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong on that because other people are doing it and saying it works. So, you know, I just don't have all the answers yet. Let's see. Okay, so anyway, so this is the trim I did on him the other day. Let's see now. So, but the other foot I did, okay, now, because you see how this side is slightly wider, it used to be way wider out here, real flared and real low over here. And then this side more narrow. But in doing what I've been sharing with you guys about taking this heel a little bit lower, okay, that has helped this foot a lot, and this side come in as well. Well, I usually don't go below 1 3/4 because it just puts all the horn tubules at too low an angle pushing forward. Because yeah, especially if you don't take any toe down here. So let's see. Well, I would work on that, you know, but not so much that you make a real sore or anything like that. I would work on those sides of that pillars, you know, on letting that wall down. I still have to explain to you, let's see here. Okay, so I did a video of how okay, so I didn't take a picture of it though. Okay, so I had all this filled in with green, and then I showed how I take the wall down with the rasp and how you read the sole as you're rasping. See how I have the same amount? This was all filled in with green, and then as I rasped, it rasped away the green so that I could read and try and get this more balanced and symmetrical. As I should just show you the video. Just a minute. Let me see if I got the video. Hold on. See, just a second here. I'm lost. Oh, hey, it's all right. It's all right. You know, there's so many details here. There's a lot going on in this toe. First of all, the shape of the foot. You know, learning how to rasp down the sides of the toes so that they start taking on the shape of the foot. Because a lot of times we leave them too high. See, that's all contributed to both sides of the foot, because really both sides of the foot are not correct. You know what I'm saying? This side is better than this side for sure. Okay, but neither side is really correct, but this side more so. So not too bad, but this side is way funky, so funky that it's making your hair stand up here. See that? Because that wall just jammed and has pushed that hair right up like that. Let's see, I gotta find. Oh, goodness sakes. Okay, well, I had a video, so we'll see if it's here. Okay. Can you hear that? Okay. Oh, it's lagging. Okay, well, instead of then, I'll just mute it and I'll explain what's going on. Okay, so I started trimming this foot, rasping it down over here. And then I thought, you know what, I think I'll take and color it green and then show people how I rasp the foot flat down to the level of the sole, and then what happens as you rasp into the sole. Okay. Okay, so just let me start this here. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, can you see that okay? Okay. Okay, so now again, this, I've been working on these feet for a long time, so I can rasp the foot flat or at a level plane, and I will get a clean white line. If your heels are trimmed out and your foot is bent, you're always going to have a dirty white line right here. And if you go trying to get a clean white line, oh yeah, you're going to get a big scoop. You know what I mean? You're going to get a big gap in the quarter because that foot's bent right there. And as well, the horn tubules are disconnected from the sole. So, and that's what this is. That's what that clean white line is. That's the horn tubules and lamina of the hoof wall being connected to the sole. And so where the foot is bent and the horn tubules are run forward, they're not connected there. So you're not going to get a clean white line. So if you go trying to get a clean white line all the way around the foot, like what I can get on this horse real easy, because his foot is now flat, you know, the heels are still bent under a little, but his foot is now flat, and most of the horn tubules are all connected where they're supposed to be, even though we're still, you know, kind of moving them back and different things like that. Okay, I can get a clean white line, but you just can't rasp into a foot and expect to get a clean white line if you've got thin sole or run forward horn tubules or any of this. See, this is what makes this whole thing so hard in trying to teach people, is that you've got all these variables of the what condition is their particular horse's foot in, and what I can do in my trim at the stage I'm at is not necessarily something they're going to get. And so they watch me do these trims, and I can get this nice level foot. I can even rasp into the sole and not have any problems and stuff like that. But if they do it, then because of the condition of their horse's foot and its particular distortions, they wind up with sore horse. See what I mean? And in some cases, you know, 6 of one, half a dozen the other. What decisions do you make? You know, your horse's feet are not correct anyway. What's going on? That's why we encourage stabilization, cast, shoes, boots, whatever it takes. Soft ground, you know. Okay. All right. So anyway, what I wanted to show in this video I did was just how I rasp And so I'll just kind of, hopefully I'll get this thing adjusted. Oh, I suppose. What am I doing? Oh, first I was going to measure my heels to make sure where they were. And you see they're right at 2 inches. Okay, so I decided to take them down to 1 3/4 inches this time. And the way I do it, and then if you notice, then as I line up the ruler with the inside of the heel, that's right where the line will come to half the time, which I don't know if that's a constant, but just seems to happen for me for some reason, which I happen to be explaining there. Okay, so hopefully I'll adjust the camera so you can see the whole foot. Oh yes, I'm getting there. Oh, come on. Aha, there I go. Now it was interesting that that green almost looked like it's velvet, green velvet, didn't it? Yeah. Okay, so the first thing I want you to notice here is I am not angling that rasp. I want this flat. Okay, and this part, it's very important to get this part and this part in unison together there, so that you don't, I mean, sometimes you might have a little nubbin here, but it should be one kind of one deal. And other times you haven't got any much buttress at all, so you're letting this grow. So, you know, I got a lot of heel buttress. See, but I try to keep see how flat my rasp is there, and how I like rasp over and slide it down. There we go. I had already rasped on this side and got it to the level of the sole before I decided to do this. See how my wall's longer over here? Okay, so it didn't take much before I finally hit the sole over here. All right. Now, some horses have real thin sole. Okay, you ain't got much sole, so that might be all you're gonna go, you know. This horse, he's got a full thick sole ridge plus the bowl of the sole right here. See, like it might look concave, but what this is going to show is it's not concave. There's actually a inch wide, about, well, 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch wide sole ridge, convex sole ridge right in here. And then it turns concave right here once it gets under the coffin bone. Right here, this is exterior to the coffin bone. Well, there's not even a coffin bone right there. That's the heel, which would be all cartilage on the inner foot. But over here, the coffin bone starts right here. See, this is the sole ridge that goes beyond the coffin bone. Okay. Where are we at here? Okay, so now remember, we just got done looking at this part of the toe from the top. Okay. This foot has a specific shape to it. And so we also, when we are rasping the foot from here, we have to remember that, so that we are taking down the toe quarters correctly, and getting the right shape to the foot. And we have to learn to read the sole ridge. And we have to know too, are our walls flared and is the sole pulled out this way? Because that's going to make a difference as well. You know, have all the horn tubules pushed all this wall forward out from under where the actual foot is there? See, there's always a lot of times some of that going on. Anyway, okay. So see, I'm not just standing in one spot. You know, I push the rasp, but then I'm going kind of shoving it down, but I'm keeping the rasp flat, and I'm really paying attention that I'm not angling that rasp and trying to do any kind of a bevel yet. I want as flat a surface as possible. And again, always go back to the thing that if your foot is not correct, if your foot is bound, if your foot is bent, if your horn tubules are disconnected, you cannot get a clean white line from here to here. If your toe is flared, you won't be able to get a clean white line either, but this is something we are working towards, because a clean white line shows good hoof health. See that? When you have a good amount of sole and this clean white line, and you don't have to get it perfect at every single trim, but it's something you should be able to get to relatively easily, like I do here. See, you see what he looks like over here. See, okay, so we're going to move on here. Okay, so what I want you to notice as I do this is how you can tell when I finally hit the sole, and the more it might start out and be just this width, but as I go down, it will get wider. See, I did this so you could contrast the color, because on the sole ridge right here, convex sole ridge, then right here, the foot gets concave. Okay, but as the wall grows and connects to the sole and pulls it down, the whole thing can look concave, like your feet do. You know what I'm talking about? You look at the sole view of your feet, the whole thing looks concave, but in truth, it's not. It's hiding that sole ridge there. And you have to learn how to read the sole ridge, just like you have to learn to read that rectangular area and the growth rings, and then the triangular area and the growth rings. You know, see all these things, including the measurements I do in the front, you know, where you draw the line down the center of the foot, go over 2 inches on each side and draw a line, and it should be about 1/4 inch shorter. You know, all these things are just guides in learning the shape of these feet and how that hoof capsule is supposed to form to fit the shape of the internal foot. Okay, a second here. Okay, so now watch how, as I get in, how the line, see there, hit the sole right there. See it? Turned white. Okay, now see how I'm trying to keep it a uniform thickness? Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, see that? The width and the width up in here, all about the same. Okay, now I got here, and it got a little wider, because it seems to get wider in the toe. It's a little different in the toe. Then again, maybe not. Maybe I'm just not trimming this enough. I don't know. I was thinking this the other day. That could be, yes. That could be. See how easy I came down on the toe and how it got wider there? But now here's where I run into an issue too, like you. This side of the foot is more flared out and flatter. You know, so at the time I'm doing this, I'm putting the foot down, I'm trying to read the growth rings, I'm trying to understand how is this going to affect what I'm doing here. Can I still take it down in the same way as the other side? Is this gonna, do you understand? See, it's not easy. making all these decisions because you've got certain hoof distortion and stuff like that that you're dealing with, you know. So anyway. But what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try first here to take it all down to see the width of that white area I rasped into there. I decided to go over there and take more down. This is the flared side over here. This is the more upright side here. See how the bar kind of bends over more? Well, I just decided I'm going for it. I'm going to go ahead and take this side down some more. Yeah, these horn tubules on this side are more run forward than on this side. Well, that's why that crack happened so long ago. And this, here's another thing. See the heel on this side is full of sole, but the heel on this side, on the flare side, is more hollowed out. Again, I'm reading where my rasp was going there. I don't want to go and pass my line, and I'm trying to keep this area flat, you know, and tell him to hold his foot still. Yeah. You know. Yeah. Yeah. They get impatient. You know, everything's a judgment call. You know, the grass is soft here right now. He's got a lot of sole. Yeah. Now, but anyway, you can see how as you rasp down, it will start to take that sole ridge down and get wider and wider depending on how far you go. Well, you want to try and make it uniform, but you still have to make a judgment call depending on your distortion. You know, whether you're doing the right thing or not, I don't know. This time I decided I was going to take that flared side down a little more than I usually do and bevel it to try and get it straightened out. Whether I made the right decision, we'll see here in a couple days. The point is, once we know where it's supposed to be, then it's trying different things to get it there. And it is trial and error sometimes, you know, because we're breaking ground and doing things that nobody's done before, because we're knowing things that nobody knew before. I decided I think I was measuring the toe there to see what was going on. You know, where you measure it in the center, go over 2 inches on each side and measure it. I'm looking at the growth rings to see they aren't symmetrical, meaning they're not the same on each side. So then trying to decide, well, what do I need to do here? You know, on the flared out more side, they are wider, you know, than they are on the more compact inside. So what do I do there? Should I take it down a little more, or do I need to bevel that area, or what do I need to do? See, everything is a judgment call, and this is not brain surgery. It's harder. so you know. Okay, so anyway, let's see, how do I get out of here? Yeah, see, I'll show you what I did on the other foot. I finally just uh, broke down and did a bunch of things to that other foot, because on this foot it's getting relatively good. That asymmetrical outside flared part from when I trimmed out the heels, and also was rasping too high up on the wall way long time ago, you know, and so trying to correct this over the years, it has corrected a lot. It is way better than it used to be. And this is a common problem, because if you look at old horseshoes that they used to make, you'll see that they had this problem continually, where they had especially the outside way wide, way asymmetrical, and they built special shoes for that. So it's a common thing that happened. And anyway, trying to figure out how to get out of here. Mm-hmm. Okay, so here I've got everything rasped. I'm trying to decide. You see the width I have here? It's all about the same, really. The sole. I'm trying to decide if I want to do that back in this heel over here. You know, a little bit makes a difference on these horses, and you can see. Let's see. Stop. 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 Ah. Go back. Okay, you can see the different shape in this heel. See it compared to this one? Okay. So anyway, I'm just trying to decide what I need to do, because this heel is more run forward. That's why it's pushing this out here. So I'm just trying to decide what I want to do right in here. Again, I'm going to remind people, you can't necessarily get a clean white line like this if you've got a lot of distortions and flaring and bulges and, you know, stretching of the sole and long toe and trimmed out heels that's bending the foot, and I mean all that kind of stuff. So not sure what I was doing here with this hoof knife. Can't remember. Oh, okay. So when you rasp the foot and you've trimmed the bars, a lot of times you have a funky ledge right here. Okay. And so what I like to do is I like to come up with the hoof knife and just kind of blend this in. Because just a minute here. Because I don't know if I can annotate. Just a minute. Maybe this will let me. Oh, maybe we're going to draw. Okay, it's going to let me annotate now. Okay, if we were to take our hoof wall, which here's the end of the bar right here. Okay. And then the wall turns into the wall right here. Okay, this area up here, the whole thing. Okay, if we were to take that and we were to lay it out flat, it would look something like this. You see that? And the bar area right here, this would be your buttress. This would bend in this way. That'd be this piece right here. See here? Okay, so you see this area right here, from here to here. Okay, there's a smooth transition there. It's got a specific shape. Okay, it doesn't go like it doesn't go like this. See what I mean? But so when you rasp this, you can wind up having a weird ledge here. Okay, so what I try to do is I just try to bring my knife in here and kind of kind of blend just this little area in right here. So there's not necessarily a ledge. You don't want to overdo it. You know, so that it's more of a smooth transition like this. Now, do you understand that this is your bar, but it's bent around over here? See, the wall comes around this way and then it bends in that way. See what I mean? Yeah, and of course you can't always blend it in perfect. Okay. And so what I'm showing here is just how to, let me see, undo this here. Clear all drawings. Okay. I think that's what I was doing here anyway. We'll see. Okay. So, all right, let's start this again. So right in here, I'm just going to kind of just take just take it a little bit off there. Okay, see how I uncovered more of the white line right there? Coming around in there. Oh, there it is. So just blending it in a tad. If I can. This side's harder because this side has more distortion, you know. And the bar is laid over more here. So just a little bit trying to uncover that. Now look, you're seeing the white line up here there, right? See, so that's showing me I'm doing the right thing because I'm uncovering that white line right there, that the bar there and the heel were kind of smooshed over it. Now you can't make it perfect, but you can kind of blend in that little bit there. And I think little bits in the end add up, you know, just like when you kind of leave the toe quarters or the quarters a little bit high, eventually that pushes up, then it pushes out into the flaring that you get. So it's hard on these, on the deformed part, the judgment call, things like that. I thought I would get in there and clean that up a little more, see what I see. Yeah. See, and where it's laid over like this too and more hollow, a lot of times your sole's going to be thinner in there. And you can see that. See the pink? That's kind of showing me my sole is a little thinner in there. Now that also, you know, sole's very porous. So if you have anything bleeding up in there or inflammation, any fluid, it will leach down through the sole. Sometimes you can run into pink or even what looks like blood and in the sole or your wall, you take another rasp swipe and it's gone because it was something that leached down from above. Well, there's my cleanup crew there. I'm telling you, those chickens love frog bits, hoof bits. Really? That's interesting. I hope people can hear you on the video so they just don't think I'm talking to myself. If anybody, I don't know if anybody can hear, but Amanda's on here talking to me. You just never know. Okay, so now I'm going to remeasure my toe, measure twice, cut once. I realized when I did this that I had not been measuring correctly when I first did the toe because, okay, on this protractor, the inch measurement starts right here. See, right there. So I have to see that part don't count. So I realized that my toe, remember when I first started this trim, the apex of the frog went clear out to here. Okay. I've taken that down with my little grinder to find pure sole right underneath it. Okay. And now I have to remeasure my toe, and I'm finding that my toe actually comes back to here. My toe can be taken back. Okay. Which if we look at the pictures, okay, if we look at the first pictures, let me see if I can find it here. Yeah. Just a minute there. Yeah. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Hold on. Let me go up here. Okay. Here's where I started. See, that's where my true apex wound up being. And if you look at, once I trimmed up the frog and everything really good, there's pure sole under here, even though we see frog right here. Okay. So let's see here. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I do it a combination doing that and then kind of looking at it and telling too. You know, it just looked long. The toe was looking long. This tells me too that my heels and my frog and everything have moved and come back. So let's see. You can what? Oh, right there. Yeah, you can, can't you? Let's see here. Okay. Okay. I want you to compare this here, just a second here. Okay, so this is after I've rasped the whole thing and everything, but you see where I moved the apex of the frog back to, and you can see there is pure sole under there now. Yeah, see, because this is, you can, the sole, because this sole is white, okay, you can see the color of the sole corium underneath right there in this area because it's more thinned out over here. See, let's see. Okay, well, let's go back to, well, I have misplaced my video. That ain't it. Just a minute. Okay, well, just a minute here. Go back up here because it's right here. Okay, we'll get up here. Okay, this is where I started. So this is not the right video. Just a minute here. Okay. Now, one thing we want to pay attention to is the shape of the foot. This is a front foot, okay? If you leave the toe quarters high, the foot will be more round or square. Yeah, that's why you do take it back, but you have to learn to take this down too, because something that you haven't been doing, you're beveling back, but you're not taking anything down. See, you have to take a certain amount down to get back to the shape of the true foot. Otherwise, your foot just going to keep getting longer and pushing forward and forward, and you're, you know, you can even have this shape, but it's going to be way out here. See, so what I did in this foot, then later, I don't know, we'll see. I also took it down. I wind up taking my toe back, but then I saw, well, I need to take the sides of the toe and the center of the toe down again. But again, I have a lot of sole here, but guess what? You've got a lot of concavity, deep frog, and you got quite a bit of sole to work with. Oh yeah, see, that's good. That's showing she has a lot of sole. The more recessed this frog is, the more sole you have to work with. So that's another thing. Let's see. Let's close that. Let's see what I got here. Okay. Must be talking about something or forgot something or did something. May have nothing on here. Yep, I don't think I have anything on here. Just a second. Nope, nothing on there. Okay. Well, unfortunately, I did not show me taking the toe back. Oh, wait, yeah, I did. Okay. So I remeasured the toe after I took the whole foot down flat and had moved the apex of the frog back, as what you're seeing here. And every time I do this, I go, is it really supposed to come back that far? Do you understand what I'm saying? You know, it's always, even though I've done it a zillion times, it's always a little intimidating, you know? So yeah, I am going to take it back. But then as you say, then what's that do? It makes your foot square, right? Or round. Okay, so I'm just, you know, rolling it kind of with a slight bevel, just to whatever that angle is that you normally are at that stage. I'm taking it off, but you notice how I don't just take it off from here to here. I go clear over to here as I'm taking it off. So I'm hitting the sides of the toe too. You see that? I'm hitting the toe quarters as well. Going clear over there. You see that? So not just the center of the toe. And then I will also rasp it down flat again. Yes, I did. I muted myself. Okay, so what I'm doing is, yes, I am beveling back, but then I'm also beveling down. I'm also rasping down. See, let's look at that again. Now, again, he's got a lot of sole in the toe here. Your horse has a lot of sole. Okay, you have to do a combination of beveling and then determining whether you need to bevel down to get back to the shape of the foot. See, because it's really hard to determine how much sometimes where all that sole is and where it's placed, and you're wanting as much as possible to get these feet in the shape of the internal foot. Okay, so if I don't take this down, then it winds up being higher, and that's when it's going to start pushing up. See, this sole is going to deceive you. This sole ridge right here. Okay, so now you look, you see, I beveled the toe back. You saw me bevel the toe back, right? But then I took and I leveled the foot again to where there was no bevel. So bevel and level as much as possible. Again, you're using your thumb to test, you know, how much sole, how much concavity is here, about how much sole ridge do I have, how deep is the apex of the frog, you know, do I have a white line or is it a stretched white line? Because then, you know, things aren't going to be right. You're not going to be able to do things exactly like this, you know, but for a lot of us that have been doing this for a while, we all got sole coming out the yang. You know what I mean? That we're not knowing what to do with. Because once everything starts to get right, your soles really start to grow well. Then it's a matter of how do I manage the sole and keep it in line with the foot where it's supposed to be. See? So while we could go here, where I'm at here. Well, we could go here, and you see I've got a nice shape to the foot here. Right? This is the shape of the inner foot. Okay, but we also know from looking at the side view that my toes are run forward, right? Still a little bit. My heels are still coming in correctly. My frog here is finally starting to be what is anatomically correct. Okay, in other words, I haven't got a bunch of weird, thick, odd periopal suck clear down into the middle of the foot, you know, things like that. Everything is kind of starting to come together the way it should. And this is the shape of the toe. The only thing is the whole foot has shifted. How do I know that? Because the frog apex was here and now it's here. Of course, you have to be careful on that too, because on a foundered horse, that thing you can be rotating on a foundered horse when you see that frog moving back like that, but that is not what's happening here. Okay, but you can see this is not a compromised foot. Okay, so you see the width of the sole ridge I got here, and the wall. This is all rasped in a flat plane. Okay. So it's this wide, but it's a flat plane. This is not concave right here anymore. It was, but it's not anymore. It's, look at it. It's kind of the shape and width of a horseshoe, isn't it? You know? And so then when we get up here, okay, and I marked, there's where my toe should be, but here's the thing. That is not just something you can bevel back to. As you take the foot down, this white line moves back. Why is that? Because, just a second here. This is why. Okay. Oh, come on. I thought you were going to let me draw. Look at, it's not. I wonder why. Just a minute, I gotta go somewhere else for that. Okay, just a second here. Okay, so your white line, let's do this. Your white line is, say, just a second. I don't need you anymore. Oh, wait. Let me move that. Okay, so hold on. Okay, so let's say your foot's up here and here's your white line, okay? And it runs all the way down. Well, wait. I'm doing it wrong. Hold on. Your white line would be, come on. Like so. Okay. So as you rasp, you can rasp back. Let's say the toe needs to come back to about here. Okay. You could rasp back because let's say I've measured from here to here, and this is where it's telling me my toe needs to be, right? Okay, so yeah, you can bevel the toe back to there, but also what happens, just a minute, let me figure out how to show this. What happens if I take the toe down? It moves back too, see there? So I'm doing a combination of beveling the toe back as well as taking the toe down, like so, see? Now, do you understand why when you rasp down, the white line would move back? Okay, so that's why you have to learn a combination of beveling for sure. Let me find something to draw with here. Of beveling for sure. Let's say I want my toe beveled to here. Okay. But you have to do a combination of also taking the toe down. You see how both ways do that? Okay. So that's what you're seeing me do in this video. Yeah, I'm beveling it back, but then I'm taking it down all the way around the toe. See, now I have soft ground out here, and he's got a lot of sole, and his soles are pretty hard, you know, so you have to weigh this stuff. Is my horse going to need boots? He's going to need to be on soft ground for a couple days till his sole hardens up again and everything moves to where it's supposed to be. And I mean, all this kind of stuff, you know, because everybody's horse is not the same. We're talking about where we're headed here. Okay, their feet are not right totally anyway, right? We are restoring what is not correct to begin with. See? Okay, so so like here, you might bevel that back, but then you might take it down some too. You see what I'm saying? Okay, you see the shape of the foot here. As you take it down, it's also going to take it back. As you take this wall down, it also moves everything back because the wall grows down and forward. See? So when you take the growth up, then you also take the wall back, if that makes sense. Okay, so let me, okay, so I marked the toe, and yeah, you know, I still get a little freaked out when it's like this, but this foot's been growing for quite a while, and a lot has shifted, and a lot has taken place in the back of the foot. And so now I'm seeing that this is an opportunity for me to take this toe back And so I mark it, and then I'm going to start rasping it down. And again, as I rasp across here to bring it back to kind of roll the toe from right in front of this black line, okay, I'm also hitting the sides of the toe quarters here. I'm not just making a totally squared off front here. So right now I'm just beveling back. And I go from side to side, and I'll hit, past the line over here into the toe quarter. So you can see where I've hit that there, right there, clear up into here. Now over here, and I'll just keep going kind of back and forth, trying to kind of take everything back kind of equally. Okay, now I'm going to rasp flat. You see? And I actually take the bevel out when I do that. Now, I'm not saying bevel it and then take the bevel out. I'm just saying that I started to do this, and it showed me that I could also rasp down and take some more of that sole out. And that even though I'm doing it, you'll notice that my line here does not get much wider. Right here, watch this. Okay, now look there where my line is right here. That took the toe right back to where it was supposed to be, and it kept the shape, the true shape of the foot. You see that? Now all I'm doing, I'm not beveling back like I was. Now I'm just taking off the harder outer horn tubules. See, at first I was, because the toe needed to be moved, I was beveling back the wall and rounding it off back to that line, but taking it around the sides. Then I took the sole here down, and now I'm just knocking off the harder outer horn tubules here and making the actual bevel that we make to finish off the foot. Do you see what I'm saying? So what I've done here, see, trying to learn how to take this foot down and keep the shape of the foot. And especially in the toe quarter area here. It's really easy. See, for a long time, I would bring the toe back, but I didn't really understand about how to take these sides down. So I wouldn't take them down. Then I wind up with the kind of round squarish foot. But now for about a year, I've been really working on rasping these toe quarters down to the shape of the foot. See?
I like how the sole bridge in the toe looks more uniform.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look at that, this is just stuff I'm figuring out too. It's all scary. You understand that? It's all scary. All right. It's like, am I doing the right thing here? But yeah, me too. I don't like to do that either. Um, but like I said, we're going where nobody's gone before. We're pioneers on a hoof frontier here. Okay, hoof, the final frontier. Okay. Okay. Yeah. But I make it a little wider here. I flatten it out a little more. Right, wrong, indifferent. See how I'm feeling it there? And sometimes if you have a lot of sole, you wind up with a sharp ridge right here. Okay, I will take my knife and I will just kind of round it off a bit. You understand what I'm saying? Because I don't want it to go and then a sharp edge and a drop down. I want it shaped like the inner foot. You know, yeah. And as I say, here in the toe too, you do seem to have a little bit, maybe I could be wrong about that. I don't know, a little bit different shape in the sole ridge, which I guess they thought was a toe callus, but it's just the shape of the sole in the toe, which would, as far as I'm concerned. So, okay. So, but this width, see, and shape, you got to remember that the toe is not round and the toe is not square. So somehow through all these nuances and things that I'm showing you here, you use all of these things to start determining this. You know, the biggest problem that I have is that because I get more and more of an idea of what the foot is supposed to look like, sometimes I'll overdo it a little. You understand what I'm saying? Not as much as I used to. When I showed you those first pictures of when I was working on Molly and stuff, okay, I did overdo it because I didn't understand where the inner foot was and stuff like that. So sometimes I would overdo it, but I learned from that, and not so much anymore, but it's easy to do. So it's better to err on the side of caution and work over maybe a couple of days doing some of these things. Now here him, we have not got frozen ground. He's in a lush grass pasture. Everything is soft, so nothing I did to him here hurt him or affected him in one way or the other. Okay, but let's say the ground was frozen. It might have made him tender-footed. You understand? So you have to take all these things into consideration when you're doing this. Is my horse going to need boots? Is he on frozen ground? What's going on? Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, so then I measured the toe again to see where it was. And just about right. See there? Now, again, why do we use these protractors with these marks? So that we can make a level toe. See there? Okay, so I've got a flat wall. I'm not sure. What did I do here? Pretty much decided right there was okay. Okay. And just take off the hard outer horn tubules there. See there? You don't want sharp edges around here. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because let's take a look at an inner foot here. Just a minute here. Because that's really what we're wanting to, I got one here somewhere, a good one. Yeah. Yes. You know, and then remembering all those things that you could still have the same amount of sole in the side of that toe, even though the wall is longer. You know what I'm saying? That the wall is jammed up. And so you're going to work on getting that shape in there and letting that wall down and that kind of stuff. So well, you do that. Yes, you need to do that a little bit too. You're kind of working on both, you know, and stuff. I mean, here's a picture of the shape of the foot, you know, you know, so okay, so you see how everything's smooth and rounded and blended on the inner foot, right? So it should be relatively the same on the hoof capsule. You know, should be a bunch of sharp edges and, you know, drastic drops and things like that. You know, even the frog, you know, a lot of times when you trim that frog, you have sharp edges. I'll round those off. You know, I got a whole picture of a foot here somewhere. well, well, good, good. So are they getting along okay with him? Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, good. Barely anything. Yeah. Okay. So here's this was a good inner foot right here. So then, okay. See the sole ridge right here. Now it starts on the outer part of the foot. So your sole ridge that you're working on starts here and goes into here. Right here is where true concavity. This is the only true concave. This is convex. See there? But when the wall grows and pulls the sew out, it can make the whole thing look convex. See, that's why these feet are so deceiving. But you see how everything just transitions smoothly into the other parts. The corium of the sole transitions smoothly into the corium of the frog. See there? And the corium of the collateral of the bars and collateral groove. The coronary band coming around here where the heel buttress is right here, big triangular fur, then turns flat and goes right here, see? So everything is smoothly transitioned. And you see what happens when it's not. You know, this is from a foundered foot. What happens to the toe? Let's see here. Just a second here. Okay. Now here's a good picture of an inner foot. Yep, I sure will. Okay, see, this is a front foot too. See the shape? And yeah, and so So if you don't take these toe pillars down correctly, then they get wide here and square. As you would take this down, the white line moves in and the shape of the toe takes form. Learning how to rasp flat and rasp down this part of the foot is real tricky, but very rewarding. And look at the sole ridge here. See it? See how that area is flat? It's not concave. Clear back into the heel right here. This is a flat sole ridge right here. And of course, it lips up over the outer side of the foot. So and because the wall grows longer than the foot, so your sole ridge is out here and going clear to here. That's what I was rasping down. See? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And another interesting thing is if you rasp too thin, the foot will warn you before you hit the actual tissue of the sole corium. It will warn you by a tiny drop of blood leaching through the sole. Okay, don't freak out. That's telling you, wow, you are just getting way too close there. Stop now. Okay. You haven't killed your horse. You haven't done anything. Everybody's going to do that at one time or another when you're trying to correct these feet. Yeah. So I just want people to know that, because you are removing stuff, you are loosening stuff, you are trying to get things to grow so that these feet can go back to what they're supposed to. Like if you look at, see, here we go. Let's look at this picture here, because you have deformed foot. This is what deformed look at this round capsule. You see what I did to the foot? Let's turn this around. Just a minute. Here's the two different kind of feet. Look at what this capsule did to this foot. See there? These are both front feet. Look how it deformed it. See that? What? Nope, not once. Not when it's to this horse. Everything, the coffin bone has been reshaped here and here. See there? Okay. No, the coffin bone ends about here. Okay. It goes, it's, well, you got your sole corium on there. So it's right about here. Wherever your sole ridge ends, right in here. Okay, because it's covered with sole corium, which is like a thick cartilage gel pad thing. Okay, just a second here. Okay. Now you see how wide this is here. These heels were trimmed out, and this horse was put down. The owner said his tendons were basically, the vet said his tendons were basically shredded. That is what this barefoot trimming does. Trims the heels out. It affects the tendons and the foot, and they'll adapt and adapt and adapt. Okay, but it's doing damage the whole time. Now look at the difference. See, in the shape of this foot. Now, this foot, the pillars were a little high and long. Okay, if we were to look, but this was one of the few perfect feet internally that I've found that wasn't all messed up. But you really see the difference? Look at the frog. See? And so that's what that trimming does. You're forcing this look. Of course, we in a way are putting the same thing on what we're doing, but we're doing it because we know what this foot is supposed to be like. And so we are as closely as possible trying to help this foot capsule conform to the inner foot rather than the foot conform to the capsule. You see the difference? Okay. There it is again. Look at the imbalance here in this foot that it put in this foot. You can't see it on here though, really, do you? It almost looks very symmetrical here, doesn't it? Yeah, but look at the foot itself, what it did to it. Isn't that weird? But yeah, look here at this foot. Even though this capsule's a little bit off, the foot was still very protected and very much unaffected. Now, if this would have kept going, you know, probably, now this horse broke its leg and was put down, and I was fortunate to get the feet from Carolyn Cruz and Holly. And this horse here was owned by a barefoot trimmer, great person, and stuff like that, but taught by Strasser. Okay, and then also studied under some of them other people. You understand? So they absolutely do not know what to do with these heels. So this is what it creates. And the horse was pretty aged, but had to be put down because of what the tendon problems. Okay, so that's what's going on. You know, the horse may look sound for years, but he's tearing up his tendons in his body the whole time. Okay, so, all right, so you are trimming the bottom of this foot. Like if I was to come in and trim this foot, I'd start taking this side down. You know what I mean? And start bringing it in so that it was shaped like the inner foot here. You see? Let me see if I can get us a view of what that looked like in front. Now, let's see. Whoa, well, here you go. Here's the same 2 feet. Okay. Here's the same 2 feet. Now your heels right here. Here's your bulbs. Horses aren't supposed to walk on their bulbs. They're supposed to be up off the ground. And here's where your frog stay grows, right here, way up between the bulbs, stabilizing them. And then you have a thick frog. Right here, you have heel that grows up here. Horse walks on its heels. Okay. Look at this horse. What's it? Look where the frog stay was pulled under the foot. He's walking on his bulbs. You see that? Look at the heels are pushed up that way. As the bulbs are pulled down because you over trim the heels, it bends the foot and pushes these heels up in like that. So their whole thing about a heel first landing is a total bunch of crap. You know, yeah, heel first landing my butt. All right, because what's going on is you're destroying the true heel of the horse. You're pulling him down on his bulbs, and the way that you're mechanically forcing that foot to be is forcing that horse to look like he's landing heel first, but you've destroyed his feet and he's not landing on his heels. He's landing on the sensitive part of his foot. See what I mean? You're torturing the horse. That's what you're doing. The horse is in pain constantly. Inflammation, pain, the foot is being remodeled. See what I mean? Now, do you see this heel? Yeah. See how it's shoved up that way? See the difference? Okay, see, there's just a whole bunch of difference here in what's going on here between these 2 feet. Barefoot, trimmed. This horse escaped that somehow, some way. Didn't have a farrier that learned the same garbage either. You know, that, oh, gotta force the frog to have frog contact. You know, that's what that does. Okay. Okay, so here's the same 2 feet from a side view. Again, this area of that foot, this was the wider side of that foot. It was getting out of control there. Okay, but it had not, but when it's not so bad yet that it was affecting the inner foot yet. But look, see the red right here? See, it was starting to affect things. See, got a crack here. And then you had this bruising here. Okay, this is the other foot that was so deformed. Now, the interesting thing is this capsule was bigger than this one. This horse was smaller than this one. This was a mare and this was a gelding. See, that kind of trimming reduces the size of the hoof capsule and binds and compresses the foot into that small capsule. So, okay, so here's the picture of the same 2 feet. Okay, so again, this is the good foot. This is a good picture too. I'll send you this so you can have comparison of the bad foot here and the good foot here. And look, you can, this is a great picture because you can really see that sole ridge. Look at that. Okay, that's sole corium on there, and then the coffin bone's right under here. Okay, yeah, wow. Yeah, I will send you that picture. Okay, so you see why we have to know the shape of the foot. Okay, because as the whole hoof wall grows and gets longer out here, if you don't take it all down uniformly, then that's when you wind up with a round foot, you know, round hoof capsule, and that's when you wind up with a deformed foot as well. Not only just healing, trimming the heels out, but the way you learn to trim and shape the toe. And the toe, when I talk about the toe, I mean everything from here all the way around, this whole front half of the foot right here. See? That triangular, the whole triangular area, technically, you know, just about anyway. Okay. Okay. You know, the only other thing is the measuring of the dorsal wall, which helps you as well as understanding the triangular area and the space between the growth rings, and measuring the center of that toe and knowing that 2 inches over on each side should be about 1/4 inch shorter because of that little triangular area in the front. And then when you're working at the bottom of the foot, yeah, you want to take the toe back because everything grows forward. But then a lot of times you're going to have to then level it down and take some sole down right in here. See, so that you can get back to the shape of the foot right here. And all the while also using your own judgment, pressing on the sole, wondering how much wall you got jammed up there. You see what I'm saying? There's lots of variables. But remember when you were learning to tie your shoes, was not that a total impossibility? And now you just do it, you look at it and you don't think about it. So this is like learning a new language. When I remember too, when I first started to learn my ABCs and learning to read, you know, run, spot, run. You probably didn't have Sally, Dick, and Jane, but we did. And spot. Anyway, those were the first books we read in kindergarten, and it was difficult learning that language. And so what we're learning here, this is a whole new alphabet. This is a whole new language. We're learning to read the capsule in order to conform it to the inner foot. But we have to know what is going on with the inner foot before we can do that. Just a minute here. Okay, so I'm trying to think if there's anything I need to add. Just say, okay, as far as horn tubules, okay, just a minute here. Horn tubules, let me find a foot. Now here's 2 feet, not mine, okay, that were deformed. And had the heels trimmed out. And look how the heels are pushed up and the bulbs are pulled down on both of them. See, now these horses were barefoot trimmed their whole life. Okay. This is an equine podiatry dissection here. Okay, and they don't even know the foot's deformed. Because like I share about Bracy Clark, okay, he said he and his contemporaries and his predecessors were all deceived because they didn't know that just because you took a shoe off a horse that the foot wasn't in the natural state. And so they study shod feet and unshod feet and, you know, do dissections, and you wound up with something like this, you know, or something like that. And you didn't know it was deformed. And so you're making your reasonings and your judgments and your interpretations based on what are already deformed feet. See what I mean? And then you're determining a trimming and shoeing regime based on incorrect knowledge and understanding of what the foot is really supposed to be like. Okay, so the last thing I want to leave you with, okay, we've talked now look, these growth rings here, you can see they're a little pushed up, but not bad. This is really, let's see here. This is really a pretty symmetrical, good hoof capsule, except for just a few odds and ends, which eventually would have got out of control. But let's look at something here real quick. Okay, so now here's where the hairline should be. Now, again, look at the growth rings. What do you see there? Right, so that means, yeah, so that means that this has been being left high a little bit at a time, right? And so they gradually pushed up. Okay, so you would start by beveling and leveling that, you know, and then knocking off the harder outer horn tubules, you know, to give the thing room to move down. And then in your pictures, you're going to read them and watch it to see how these level down. Now, what I notice here is that these are not only arched like that, but they're also bulged. They're also, what was I calling that? I had a name for it. Anyway, yeah, you've got these bulges. Oh, just a second. Okay, and remember I told you the reason you can't get a clean white line right here is because the foot's bent. Okay, when the heels are trimmed out, pulls the cartilage down, pushes the heels up, bends the foot. Okay, a true foot, look at this foot over here, it's flat, you see it? Now the coffin bone is set in an angle in the foot. The sulcorium cartilage right here gets thicker and wider as it goes back towards the heel. This coffin bone would end right about here. Now, the thing I want to leave you with here, okay, Remember, I showed you the proportions of these feet, right? Oh, here, let's do it this way. We're going to take this. We'll take it all the way down to the heel, right? Let's say right there. This foot was in need of a trim. Okay, but now that distance, say this foot could have probably, when it was trimmed, could have probably taken off about that much altogether. Okay. But you see the dimensions again. So what I mean, here's that triangular part, right? Okay, and then here's how it grows. Growth ring, growth ring, growth ring. And right here is where you have that triangular part that starts to go out like this, where you got to read these correctly. Okay, and they should none of them should be up in a ridge like that. Okay, now look here how straight. Now once the foot was taken out of the jammed capsule, look how the coronary band straightened out. See that? And so now you can see it on this foot. Okay, so you have those growth rings that you read and the basic dimensions of the foot, like so. Well, and now here's your just a minute here. Here's your horn tubules. Okay. Okay, they're supposed to be in alignment with the lamina. See there? The lamina of the inner foot and the horn tubules should all be in alignment. That's why when your horn tubules start doing this, you get a disconnect a lot of times in the white line, and you can't get a clean white line, because what is a clean white line? It's where these horn tubules have grown down to here, connected with the sole, and then they grow down to the ground together. So you have a clean, you can get a clean white line as long as your foot ain't bent like that and stuff like that. So, okay, so these are just structural things that go on with the horse's foot that we need to learn to pay attention to, that will help us trim and help us learn to form fit the capsule to the foot. Okay, so Lee, where we started out, we're going to do this for an hour. I think we've been here at least 2, would you say? Okay. Okay, but you see how this is not just, you know, like I said, this is worse than brain surgery. Okay. Okay, rocket science, worse than rocket science. Okay, and stuff. So, but it's also like learning your ABCs and tying your shoe. We did not learn to read overnight. This is a whole new language. It's like learning hieroglyphics, you know, hieroglyphics. Yeah. Mhm. Yes, I do believe that. Yes, yes. Yeah, yeah, just see all these things, and including, you're also that measurement I have you guys do where you measure down the center and then over 2 inches here. And so this should be about 1/4 inch shorter than the center, because you can have this. See, if this gets pushed forward, see how it can become actually longer or as long as the center of the toe when it's supposed to be shorter. Because again, what are we looking at here? Look at the shape of the inner foot. See, we're trying to get this capsule to conform to what the true shape of the inner foot is. And so we have to understand how this capsule grows from the inner foot. And we have to remember that the inner foot doesn't end here at the hairline. It's all this cartilage and everything up above the hairline. See? So we read these cartilages too. If you have a little bitty short cartilage like this, you know that the foot is bound up this way, because they really do have quite big cartilages back here that extend behind the pastern for caudal support, and stuff. Well, like the rear, I think, gosh, what if I'm using it wrong? Let's look. No, that's solar. Got it. Who knows? And rows, the rear end of the foot. Okay. A rose by any other name should smell his feet. So, as the farriers say, who know all the right words, right? They say, how can somebody who doesn't know what they're doing teach people who don't know what they're doing? Well, I don't know. It's better than thinking you're knowing what you're doing when you don't, that's the whole hoof care industry, right? Yeah. Oh, of or like the tail. Okay, so the rear end, right? Let's say caudal. Here we have the situated more toward the caudal or tail. Coccyx. I wonder if that's where that word comes from. Then some specified reference point away from the head. Okay, pertaining to the tail. Oh, so the foot has a tail. All right, the tail end, the rear end, the butt of the hoof butt. There we go. The hoof tail, situated beneath or on the underside inferior, similar to a tail form or function, a maternal effect gene pertaining to the tail, veterinary anatomy. Here we go. Denoting a position nearer to the tail. So the back of the foot is closer to the horse's tail, unless it's the back feet, which then they're kind of behind the tail, aren't they? I know. No, I know it. Well, see, they have to have all these big words so that they can, like they say, if you can't dazzle them with brilliance, you baffle them with BS, right? And so this is why people have to go to school, so they can learn all these synonymous words and pay huge student loans to keep the colleges rich, see, and make us all feel like we don't know jack crap when they talk to us, so it's all baloney. That's why I said a rose by any other name should smell as sweet. And that's why too, I don't pay a lot of attention to learning every exact direction. You know what I mean? I'll say like, take a side view, you know, or so take a front view, take a sole view, look down at the heels, the rear of the foot, the simpler, the better, anyway, okay. So now we know what coddle means. Don't coddle me. That's a different kind of coddle. That's what is it when you coddle? That's got to be spelled somewhere. That's where you comfort or you know coddle. Let's see. Coddle. Treat tenderly, pamper, indulge a baby. Okay, that's what you got to do for farriers. It's about the truth. Don't tell me I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, and barefoot trimmers anymore too. Everybody gets offended. So you got to coddle everybody. All right. Well, anyway, I could use some coddling myself. Okay. Well, is there anything else you can think of? Well, good. And I was glad to get into this subject with you because I've been wanting to share it for a while because it is so complicated. There's so many areas and things to remember on getting the front of this foot right. you know. And another thing people need to know is if your heels are really trimmed out, there's only so much you can do with the front of the foot. You do not want to overdo it on the front of the foot. You kind of want to get those heels coming in and kind of maintain some of the front of that foot. Because you aren't going to be able to do much till you kind of get that foot unbound a little bit and get some heel growing in. Mm-hmm. No, I'd say go for it. That you need to start doing something because she's got a lot of foot to work with. And let's see, I'm going to try and find Facebook and find your pictures, and we're just going to kind of go through them. Yeah, look how deep. See, you've got a lot of frog. You've got good depth of frog. Yeah, look at that. And you've got a lot of sole to work with. You've got a lot of heel. Well, I guess you did trim some off down to 1.5 inches. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, is this before trim and this is after trim, or what's going on here? Okay, and this is after. Okay, yeah, look at all that sole ridge you have to work with there. And again, look at, okay, see, now look at the shape of the foot. See? Yeah, but that's okay. You can take this down, this side here. You've got a lot of sole, huh? Yeah, that'll move the white line in like that. Yapper do. Yeah, this mare, she's got good feet. You just got some issues to straighten out here and stuff like that. But no, yep, get this stuff straightened around. Because it should be that should go down a little bit like that. You got some jamming, and then this will be kind of like this, and this will be all uniform in your little triangular area here, and then your rectangular area of the foot, and your uniform here. So yeah, see, she's really, yeah, you can work on this area over here. Let's see. Yeah, look at the growth rings, how they deviate over here. So even getting this straightened out will help this unflare and move back too, because it's being not only pushed forward, it's being pulled forward by this toe quarter. See? Okay, so this is 2 3/4 inch right here. And okay, yeah, she's just a little girl. So you got a little bit of a bulge there. This was 2 7/8. Okay, so okay. Well, again, you got wall jammed up here. See? So you could come in there and bevel some of that out of there. Anyway, you know what the foot is supposed to look like. Now it's your job to figure out what can I take off without totally crippling my horse, but move her towards where I want her to go. Okay. There. Now I was gonna say, now it's all on you. And it's off of me. Okay. Well, oh, good. Okay. All right. Well, hey, well, it's been great and stuff. I just think you're so special and I love you dearly. And everybody out there, anybody that's listening to this, good luck. Good luck learning to read the foot. Learn the language of the hoof. Okay. All right. Well, hey, keep me informed here and take pictures and let's see how things go and keep a record. And if you take off too much, that's on you. Okay. 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 My work here is done. All right. Okay. Well, everybody have a great and wonderful day. And I hope this has kind of helped people. All right. We'll see ya. Okay. Bye-bye. Pictures aren't showing.